Hello and welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 154. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products with an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross, from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This week, I got Sean from Black Bag Resources, as well as Chad, TJ, and Rob, and Tony, as soon as his technical difficulties stop being difficult. How's it going, guys?
Hey, bud.
Phenomenal.
Pretty good, Ryan. How are y'all doing?
It's good to hear.
Good. So what did everyone do in guns this week? We'll start with Sean.
I've been working out my concealed carry with this LC9. I took my next door neighbor to the range again to help him work on his skills with his Glock. And I got voluntold to host the Second Is for Everyone diversity shoot since Tony was sick. So with a little bubble gum and duct tape, we held that together, and it actually went pretty well.
I love the pictures of Tony that you guys had there.
Flat Tony showed up. Yeah, it was pretty good. I have to give all credit to Alan Wong, who was scheduled to be there and run one of the ports, and he was bringing his Thompson. And right before we started, he ran up to the podium and was like, "Hey, look what I brought." And I went, "Oh, I know what I'm doing with this." So there's video on Facebook. Rhiannon was really nice and recorded the whole thing, so you can see every embarrassing moment I had there. As well as the Flat Tony cardboard cutout. And there's a whole bunch of pictures of people getting silly with Flat Tony.
Yeah, I think I saw one. I don't think I saw too many. I saw one or two people.
Yeah,
I'm sure y'all had plenty of good time.
We'll make sure we collect them all and put them in one place for you.
There we go.
What about you, TJ? What'd you do?
Oh, haven't done much other than I don't think I got to mention it on the show last week. I think we're a little too busy and I got skipped over or something. And well, after the storm down here, my grandfather had a couple guns, and I got those from him. Completely disassembled them and cleaned them up. And then my wife's uncle got one from somebody that used it as a partial payment to help him strip their house. It was a old Smith & Wesson Model 49, I believe it was, the humpback all steel J-frame, so that's pretty cool. Trying to clean that up, but I couldn't get the side plate off, so I'm kind of hoping it doesn't rust too much from sitting in the water and not being able to get the side plate off.
Cool.
But I'd like to get that thing working because it's pretty neat little gun. Old school Smith & Wesson blue steel.
So when are you going to officially launch your restoration business?
Nah, I don't think I'm going to get into that.
That's a lot of work.
Too lazy to try to make things too good.
Right.
I'd probably let a lot of people down.
How about you, Rob?
I did not do anything in guns this week with that nice little Hurricane Matthew barreling up the west or east coast of Florida, and I'm in the Port St. Lucie area, so I had to batten down the hatches, and I decided to vacate the area, not knowing what the hurricane was going to do exactly. So, but I am happy and proud to announce that nothing really serious happened over here. A few places got flooded on the coast, but there was some standing water in some areas, and a lot of tree limbs knocked down. Some people lost power, but where I'm at, my apartment complex didn't lose any power hardly at all. It just flickered a little bit that night it came through, and after that it was okay. So we got away from it very lucky.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah,
and I saw the islands before it got to y'all got wrecked. Huh?
Oh man, they got the crap kicked out of them because it started out as a 3, and everybody's sitting there, "Oh, is this going to be a 2 or a 3?" Then all of a sudden, it moved up to a 4, and we're like, "Okay." And they weren't sure if it was going to go on land or stay off land or what it was going to do. So I said, if this thing goes up and hits Port St. Lucie, makes a left turn and heads west, I might be in trouble. So I decided I would get out of Dodge for the time being. And it was
cool. Let's see. I didn't get to Chad yet.
Well, that's okay. I didn't even do anything. I mean, no hurricane, nothing. I think I mowed the yard, and I don't know. That's about it.
No hurricane, you slacker.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice up in this corner of the country. I think Tony jumped back on. Is he?
Yeah,
is
well,
he
you
here?
guys are up in Canada, right?
No, that's
Nice.
TJ.
Yeah, I'm back.
Sweet. Just in time, because this is the part where I ask you what you did in guns this week, buddy.
Oh, cool. Nothing. Thanks.
Yeah. Always good to hear from you.
Glad you waited.
Thanks for stopping by. You can go now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's best for last.
I did something in guns. I'm actually I went to a gun show, and one that's like really close to my my old hometown where my parents live. Like not even 15 minutes from their house. So I finally what it took was Aaron from the Off Road podcast, Aaron Samuelson. I guess he's local, and we haven't really ever met up yet. So he wanted to go to a gun show, and he kind of wanted me to be there, his little gun show Sherpa, and just kind of hang out as an excuse, something to do. So we did that. It was pretty good. It was a $10 entry fee, and it was put on by just a small promotions company, not any kind of gun group or anything like that. But a lot of some of the larger players in Washington were there, with their setups, and I actually made some pretty good contacts for Patriot Patch Co. I did end up, because I had to spend some money, and what I did is I bought a Lone Wolf Glock 17 threaded barrel at a pretty good price. And so that way I can finish my Polymer 80 build that I've been working on and taking pictures of for my review. So here's my slide from Polymer 80, and now I got a threaded barrel for it. Glock 17 barrels are really hard to find right now if you want like a factory unthreaded barrel. And they see, I had their business card. I guess I left it in the other room. But they manufacture their own barrels, or they at least get blanks and they put their own name on it. And it was like Omega and something, Alpha and Omega Gunworks, maybe was the name of it. I know they were on the east side of Washington State, probably Spokane or Tri-Cities. And he had a barrel he was going to sell me for like $100, and I could tell it was just a blank that they had put their name on, basically. But I opted for the Lone Wolf just because it was threaded, and at least I knew the quality there. And then I went around and showed Aaron the, walk around the booth and stuff. And it was pretty funny. I made a very poor judgment, and you're supposed to ask before you touch a gun on someone's counter at a gun show. It's just etiquette. And I completely forgot that. And I was like, oh, hey, there's the Ruger Mark IV. Hey, check this out. And I picked it up, and I obviously everything at the gun show is zip tied somehow so that it's out of battery and that you couldn't put a round in there and pop yourself. So I disassemble it with the button in the back, and I was like, oh man, that's really cool. Like it literally just separated apart. And then that's awesome. Here, let me put it back together. Click, 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 click. Oh man, I can't get it back together. And, so I'm looking at the guy that working on the counter, and eventually he looks at me, and we make eye contact, and dude, he just turns red, and he's pissed, and understandably so. I was like, man, I totally flubbed. I shouldn't have not have done this. I apologize. And I was trying to be upfront about it and be like, hey, let's get this back together. And he was like, you're paying for it right now. Like, let me see your checkbook, or I'm gonna get security. And he had like the perfect poker face. I wasn't buying it though. I was like, come on, man, you got the box. Let's get the manual. Let's figure it out. And ultimately it was like, oh, wait, let's take off the zip tie so we can get the bolt fully closed, and then we can put it together. So he laughed and shook my hand afterwards. But after that, I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm not touching anything.
Yeah, I'm never taking you to a gun show.
Yeah, right?
Well, I'm laughing because you know what he did, right? He grabbed it, took it apart, and the guy was really mad. He turned beet red, and then he went, oh, that's Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network. Never mind. I better be cool with him.
Right?
So much for getting that guy as a customer.
Yeah. But other than that, that's pretty much what we did. And, I'm glad I didn't spend too much money there. I was prepared to, but I'm glad I didn't, because then I got a call and I ended up buying something else. And I'll give you guys a hint. It's got a camo finish. It can kill just about any large game on the continent. The projectile is under 300 feet per second. Right about 300.
And it's kind of Magpul stock.
It does not. Actually, I don't think Magpul makes any accessories for it, unfortunately.
What was it about
but-
Hoyt or Matthews?
It's a Ford truck.
No, Tony's right. Tony got it. It's a Hoyt. I bought a Hoyt bow.
I was
Good
going
job.
to say a slingshot, but I guess
Nope.
it's a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah. So I bought a Hoyt Maxus, and I got it for a good deal. They're $450 for the bow, a case, all the extra supplies and stuff. Basically, someone that was getting a little older and had some shoulder problems and couldn't pull the bow back anymore. Hardly used the thing. I don't even think they've taken it hunting because it was pretty immaculate. It still had the factory strings on it, and they weren't fraying at all. So I bought the bow, and now I'm starting to spend a lot more money on getting back into archery. So new arrows, got to buy the tips, had to get a new peep sight, blah, blah, blah. I thought archery was going to be cheaper than shooting because, hey, you can pick your ammo back up and reuse it. Wrong. It's
Can't be if you're not a total gear whore.
Well, true. I mean, if I went like Fred Bear and just had like a longbow recurve with nothing special on it, but yeah, I did go gear whore on it a little bit.
Oh, that's also saying like reloading will save me money. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or like they say, sail, the wind is free.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's just this big gap in quality. Like, oh, I need to fletch my own arrows again. Okay. What did I use as a kid? I borrowed from somebody else. I go to the store, $120 for an arrow fletching stand, where it's got 6. You can do 6 arrows at once. And I'm like, well, that seems a lot of money. I look at the alternative, and you can do 1 arrow at one time for $80. So I'm like,
Well, yeah,
okay.
the 6 arrow makes sense because that's how the Indians used to do it.
Right. I don't know. Did they?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they had the bench loading tool that held 6 arrows for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Just
Well, Native Americans.
Fiber optic knocks.
No, Native Americans actually led in compound bow technology for years.
Yep.
Well, there went our one Native American listener.
Yeah. Way to go.
He had to go to work in the casino anyway. Don't worry about it.
Oh, Jesus. So that's what I didn't go.
Send your hate mail to Tony at simonsastrain.com.
So we're gonna get on to the announcements. Bandwidth sponsor for this podcast is Patriot Patch Co. We got some new patches available for pre-order. The camping patch. We've got the new modern musket with a green and black color scheme. We've also got Cards Against Humanity parody, the Patches Against Humanity. And we also have a brand new Patch of the Month club. So for $15 a month, you get an exclusive patch that's only available to those members of that club, and you get a patch every month along with a matching sticker. And so, this month's patch is going to be This Is My Safe Space. So it's a patch of an open gun safe. It's got all sorts of guns hanging on the inside of the door as well as inside with some ammo boxes. And next month will be something Thanksgiving themed, and then I'll do a Christmas one after that. And we'll just kind of have these really awesome pro Second Amendment morale patches that you can only get by being in this club. So $15 a month. Usually we sell patches for $12.87, stickers for $4 or $5. So you're saving a few bucks there, and you're getting something that's really like almost a collector's, because no one else is going to have it unless they also are in the club there. Besides that, we got the new listener support program. So if you go to the Firearms Radio Network.tv website and then go to the pledge page, you can pledge your support to this podcast or any of the other podcasts on the network. And there's different levels of pledging, and that money goes to keeping the show up. Specifically for my show, it'll go toward new product reviews, things that I usually don't, that I've been holding off on, can't afford to go buy to test out and review for you guys. That money would go directly into that fund. So, yep, we got that going on. And Black Bag Resources. Today is the last day for that Don't Get It Twisted 10% off discount code for anything in the survival category for National Preparedness Month. So if you're listening live today on October 11th, jump on that before it expires.
It just expired.
It just expired just now? Oh,
You just missed it.
just missed it. So you're going to have another one for the next month?
We'll do one next week. We'll have a new coupon code for you.
Sounds good. And then
I'm
check
working
out.
on getting some new stuff in, and that's what we're going to focus on.
You going to tell us what the new stuff is next week?
I'll tell you next week.
Okay. I can't wait.
Ryan likes putting Sean on the spot, doesn't he?
He tries.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like now the coupon code's probably going to be something that Ryan hates now.
So Chad Wallace is not a very good coupon code. But as the unofficial sponsor of the podcast, go to blackbagresources.com and spend some money. There's your plug.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You're a pal.
Also, the TGC, the Gun Collective store. These are products that I've developed for John Patton, and we're, as Patriot Patch, we're fulfilling them for them. So he's got some shirts, some hoodies, some long sleeve tees, patch, and keychain. And for every $5 you spend, you get an entry into a one-of-a-kind contest where you're going to win an awesome gun valued at $3,000, and then you're also going to get a $1,500 hunting trip. The details haven't been worked out completely yet, but those, if you go shop at a store now, those and make an account, those points are tallied, and it will remember that. So you can already enter into that contest as right now. So that's tgcgear.com or shop.theguncollective.com. So that's the announcements. Now we're going to get on to the main topic. We're going to talk about a holster. Chad's got the he's got the deets.
Oh yeah, I got it.
What holster did you bring up today?
Today we have, it's the Osborne holsters. They're out of Texas. It is their tactical tuck holster. I'll hold it up here. It is your standard hybrid style design, which is leather backing and a Kydex or some sort of plastic outer shell. So with that, they did send this to me for review, and here in a minute or so I'll explain their process, which was kind of cool for review style. So we got that. They do offer a few different models. This one is just your standard. They do offer one that up here has like a mag carrier with built in with it, or an appendix style. So there's that. I've actually worn this for probably 2.5 months. Pretty much ever since I got it, I started wearing it. I did, of course, people on other podcasts might make fun of me, but it is for a Sky pistol. And as you can see, it fits in quite nicely. It actually has adjustable retention, but even without it, it won't fall out, which is nice. They sent me, they make like 3 different colors: natural, a reddish color, and a brown color. I got the reddish brown color because they got it. They informed me that the dyed holsters resist sweat better. But I also noticed when I was writing the review up that for a few extra bucks, they have a moisture barrier now that I guess they can put on it. I have no idea what it is, but hey, it's probably worth it. I didn't have any problems with sweat going through it or anything like that. But then again, it's not 100 degrees and 100% humidity where I live, so I usually don't have much problem with that. I will say the Tactical Tuck holster is one of the most comfortable hybrid holsters I have worn. The backing on it is very flexible. You can see it kind of so, which helps with it. That's pros and cons of it. Positive, it's super comfortable, literally almost from the day you put it on. On a negative, which is one of probably the big negatives of it, but it's not a huge problem. But when you're wearing it, it kind of collapses, so it's hard to reholster, which is it's not a huge problem. I can when you reholster it, if you kind of roll the gun in and then slide it down, it helps get it in there without, it kind of opens it up for you. So that was that. And you're always looking at your holster when you reholster it anyway, so you always have that going for you. They offer lots of firearms models to choose from. Some with lights, even if you have a light on your handgun. The pistol fits quite nicely. They did a really good job on the outer shell. They mold it for your firearm, and it fits really good. There's no sharp corners on it. It's done really nicely. Probably the pictures on the review will show you better, but there's that. The shell's also adjustable for tension with these 4 screws. They have a little like rubber O-ring grommet type thing underneath it. And they are on the back. It's kind of a rounded, smooth rivet style, kind of Chicago screw style. So it's not rough on your skin if you wear it that way. So all their screws, including the clamps, use a Chicago style backing. So that's nice. They supply their holsters with metal clips. I asked them about plastic ones. They said they only do the metal. But of course, other companies' plastic ones will fit, and they said you can get them, anywhere you want pretty much if you want plastic. It has 2 belt clips for sturdy attachment. The clips themselves have, I don't know if you can see it on here, but they have this little bump in them, which actually helps hold the holster onto your belt, etc., etc. It's got little bumps here and here, and it kind of makes it hard to put the holster on and take it off, but I would rather have it be hard to put on and take off than have it loose. So there's always that. I really like the clips, except I don't like metal clips because for some reason I sit in hardback chairs a lot, and every metal clip I've ever used seems to wear holes in my shirt. Where it bends around and kind of rubs on stuff. So that's not really a negative for them. It's just a negative for me. Then, it offers plenty of adjustments. They offer 4 adjustments for cant, ride height, which I liked. Some other companies only offer 3. So this gives you a better adjustability, which is nice. They also, adjustability, they're a rivet, so they're not rough either, and then you just put the Chicago screw through it and you have that. I'm thinking, let's see, it's a nice holster for what it is. So we will now go into the Firearms Insider 8 key points. The claim to fame, of course, it's our hybrid style inside the waistband holster. It is designed to be worn from, they say, about 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, which I wear them at 3, so that works fine for me. I'm going to go back to something when they said they were going to send me a holster. What they want you to do is they want you to go because it's a demo, they had me go through their website and order it how I liked it. So, you can choose the hand, the firearm, sights, and then you just bill it. And then literally like a half hour later, I think I got an email that said they refunded my money. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. because you get to go through, the website just like any other customer would, which, it's not like it's complicated to order a hybrid holster, but, you get to choose your hand, the firearm, the laser light options, how many you want. And I thought it was kind of a nice little touch how they did that, so that as a reviewer, I would get their website, and I could say, okay, yeah, I actually ordered it, and then they did this. So now back to the 8 key points. We'll go on to the target market. Is pretty much concealed carriers. That's kind of obvious. The features and benefits. It's hybrid style, leatherbacks, Kydex shell. They have lots of firearm models available. It has adjustable retention, pretty stout steel belt clips. It is tuckable with the belt clips are, so if you want to wear it with a tucked in shirt and just have the clips showing, you can do that. Adjustable ride height and cant. And it is made in the USA, in Texas, if that matters to you. You can get other colors or options, natural leather or black leather, and you can get it with a Meg carrier combo. We won't go into what others are saying or the other reviews because we're not doing that anymore. Price point. Here's another good thing. It is $49.99 from them. That's pretty much the only place I could find it for sale. So if you need it now, go to their site. They have pretty fast shipping. I think they say about a week is usually till they send it. So and mine arrived pretty quick. I didn't really pay attention to when they shipped it to when it got here, but there is that. Our rating, the pros, it is comfortable. It has adjustable retention, the adjustable cant, the adjustable ride height. It is a quality molding, and it is tuckable. Now the cons, the collapsible, pretty much I put holster mouth. It's kind of half holster mouth. I think if you know anything about hybrid holsters, you kind of get it. And then the middle clips, even though I liked them, for me, they were a con. So I decided to give it a 7.5 of good. So that is the review of the holster. If you have any questions, you can feel free to let me know now, or as with any review, I think you can post them on the website.
Yep. I mean, we've talked about a lot of inside the waistband, like hybrid style holsters on this show. Is there anything about this that's like glowingly like above the competition, or is it just, pretty much bare essentials?
Bare essentials. The best thing I would say about it is for a leather-backed holster. It is really comfortable. I've had other hybrid. I have other hybrid style holsters that I wear that aren't as comfortable because the leather's just not, I guess, as flexible.
So, I mean, was there like a break-in period to that leather at all, or did it come pretty flexible?
Maybe a day. I pretty much put it in, and yeah, it was super comfortable.
Cool.
It seems like they've got a pretty kick-butt price point, too. Usually
Yes.
hybrids like that, you're talking at least $60 and usually more than that. So
Right.
The fact that they're doing this for just under $50 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking, too. I mean, yeah, it's, like I said, the thinner leather collapses a little more, but, it's kind of one of those things. I'm not reholstering once a day,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not a big problem. It's just, but that leather also makes it way more comfortable. So, it's a trade-off like pretty much everything else in the firearms industry.
So,
now
go ahead, TJ.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see they have premium leather options available. I saw like on their main page, and I was just kind of scrolling around to see if I could figure out exactly what that means. Do you happen to know that offhand?
I do not. I think that's just like the dyed leather.
Mm-hmm. Okay, could be.
I think that's what they mean by that. Yeah, even I'm searching their website now too, but the one that has a built-in mag carrier with it also it's like $69.99. So that's
yeah. So I noticed they have a 2-holster combo for $75, where you get two. I guess you could buy one for two different guns for $74.99 or $49. I'm sorry, so that's even better of a deal.
Yeah, and like they have a few different combos that they do. Like you can get like the appendix style, and then it's still a hybrid style, and then your regular, tactical tuck like I got, and so they have a lot of good options. They have a lot of firearms listed also. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them, but they have quite a few. Why not?
doesn't make good radio, huh?
Thanks. Yeah, as I'm scrolling through here, and they list like 1911, like pretty much any kind known to mankind, any Beretta you've ever heard of, and of course any Glock that's imported or built here. I mean, they even make one for a Ruger SR series, pretty much all kinds of stuff. So even revolvers for your revolver fans.
Cool.
Chiapas.
Yeah, exactly. For your car P380.
On behalf of Tony, I'd probably like to ask, do they have them for the high points?
Ooh, I don't think so.
There you
they
go.
do. High Point 9, High Point JHP 45. So they have them for high points, but not Tony's high point.
Oh, snap.
No, it's got to be an inside the waistband for the high point carbine. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, no. I guess Tony's going to have to call him up.
You said they have it for 45?
Yeah, they have the 45 and the 9, but not the 40.
45 and then 40 are the same size.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I learned something today.
There you go.
See, you were so ignorant.
All right. So next, we're going to get into the product spotlight, and I'm sure we're all seen this on the interwebs and Facebook feeds and whatnot. So Ruger's got another new gun. It must be the second Tuesday of the month again for Ruger to come out with another gun. They just spit them out like hotcakes.
It's been 4 days.
Yeah, right. So this is the Ruger LCP2, and so they've kind of taken the LCP, and with all of its problems, it still seems to be a fairly popular pocket pistol for people that are just getting into the market and wanting to buy their first pistol for self-defense. Oh, it's got smaller, so it's it might be better for smaller people, both male and female, older people, both male and female. But it did have its issues, and so now they've got the Gen 2, which seems to be a little bit more practical and a little bit more functional as far as the features on it. So have you guys gotten to take a look at this thoroughly? I imagine you have.
Oh, yeah. I even, of course, went and looked at other people's articles on it because, I was curious about stuff. I mean, it's a good looking. I think they did a lot. The only thing I think that maybe they should have done is make it striker fired, but hey, they did do something with the hammer to make it kind of not as I don't know, obtrusive. It really isn't the word.
They basically made it a single action. They basically made it a single action instead of a double action like the older LCP. So it made the trigger a lot lighter and crisper. I know Ryan Machad from Handgun Radio, his local shop got one today, and he said he pulled the trigger on it, and it was kind of more like it wasn't like a super nice 1911 single action, but it was more along the lines of like another Glock, striker fired. Yeah, probably like
it's a shorter break. I mean, that's the big complaint everybody had with the original LCP and the LC9 was that trigger pull was 3/4 of a mile, and it didn't break until your index finger was behind the web of your thumb. So, hopefully they've got that worked out.
Right, and one thing I could see with it being single action instead of double action as being an advantage is the older LCPs had like 3 different reset points almost, except the first 2 were fake. So here, click, and if you try to pull the trigger again, it's dead. You let it out another click, and the trigger's dead. You got to let it out all the way to the 3rd click, and then that's the actual reset. So that was a little weird, and I'm sure I would like to assume that the single action kind of solved that. I would hope so, at least, because that was one annoyance that I always kind of had. It's like here it's almost like cocking a double action revolver where it's got like the half cock and then just you hear multiple little clicks kind of thing.
Right.
One thing they did aesthetically was add like it kind of looks a lot like the Ruger American pistol, so I guess they're kind of doing that to kind of tie it into their current theme.
That was my first thought as soon as I saw it. I went, whoever worked on the American has clearly taken over this project visually.
Yeah.
It's the mini American.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Almost kind of like Smith & Wesson did with their bodyguard. They kind of rebadged it as the M&P 380 or whatever. It's almost like they did the same thing.
Yeah, the sights, I guess, are still built into the slide, but they're decent sights now, which compared to the first generation LCPs, which basically didn't have any, and then they went to the next gen that had something, and then
a little taller.
They had slightly taller nubs.
Yes, the other nice thing about it is it does have a last round hold open.
Yeah, I always thought that was interesting. The first LCPs, they had the slide lock, but not a last round hold open, which I always thought was weird. And I can see this one's not going to be any different. The slide lock release is just in the wrong spot. But yeah, it's too far back.
Yeah, but that's just all the LCPs are that way. So.
But at least with the first one, it wasn't meant to necessarily be for a reload. It was more like for just disassembly and cleaning. But this one, it's being that it holds back. It's might be a little more difficult to get to, but you could always slingshot over the top anyways.
But
okay.
I was gonna say, that would have been nice if they would have moved that forward, but
it does look a lot more pronounced though, because previously it was like pretty much flush with the frame, but now it looks like it sticks out. It's got like some texturing on it, so that should help at least a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, if nothing else. Yeah.
Now, the slide, they completely changed the look of the slide. They changed the the serrations. They put some up at the front, which if you like it or don't, take it or leave it kind of thing. But it looks like they made the serrations wider, so you could probably get a better purchase on them, I would imagine. Get a little more meat in between them. So that ought to be nice, comparatively. I never really had a problem with the older LCPs. They were pretty sufficiently deep, and they had quite a bit of serrations on it, so they were pretty easy to grab. But I mean, this only just makes it easier, I would imagine.
Yeah, I have one of their original ones, and for what it is, it's fine. I mean, I'd rather have this one, but it's not like I'm going to sell mine and go buy one of these. But if I was in the market to buy one, I would seriously look at it.
Yeah, I definitely want to shoot it. Take a look at it, because it's got some attractive features to it. One thing that I kind of immediately thought about whenever they said it had a last round bolt hold open was the compatibility with the older magazines. It says that the 6-round original LCP magazine will work in the LCP2, but it won't activate the last round hold open, which they had to change up some stuff, probably put a little notch in the magazine to where the follower activated the hold open. But the 7-round LCP magazine will not be compatible with the LCP2. But I think I did see an article, maybe in American Handgunner or something along those lines, that said that they'll be coming out with a 7-round LCP2 magazine.
Yeah, I wonder why the 6-rounder is works, but the 7-rounders don't.
Actually, I had one of the 7-rounders when I had an LCP, and the way they designed it was basically to kind of almost like some full-size guns, or some kind of like the Ruger SR series, where you have the compact and then you have the full-size. Well, if you use the compact with the full-size magazine, they kind of had that sleeve that almost made it one seamless grip. Well, they kind of try to do that with the LCP. If you get a minute, look up the LCP 7-round magazines, and you can kind of see like the contours of it. You could see it probably is going to interface.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes
Something
perfect
kind of like
sense.
They have like a different.
Yep.
They have a different like butt angle, I guess you could say. So, but I'm sure they'll come out with a replaceable or a 7-rounder. I mean, I'm wondering though if it comes with a flush fit magazine, because they only show it with the little lip.
I heard them say it comes with the flush mag too.
Okay, here's what it says. It says includes finger grip extension floor plate that can be added to the magazine for comfort grip. So I guess it probably ships with the flush fit installed, and you can swap it just like the older the older style. And it looks like they kind of even offered, they don't really mention it, but if you look at the magazine, they kind of put a little I don't even know, like a bevel on the top of the magazine base plate to where if you need to rip it out, you can kind of get a little more meat in there.
Yeah, I noticed that too, which a file could probably do to the old ones, but
yeah. I think they had it on the old ones too, actually. I don't remember if they did or not, but I think they did.
I could go grab mine, but that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I know that they're still trying to keep with the whole snag-free design. That was the big draw of the LCP to begin with, is that you could put it in your pocket, and when you pull it out, it's not going to snag on the opening of the pocket or anything on the inside. And that's why the sights were so low on the first one, and why it has so many curves. That kind of made it seem very simplistic and I think almost a little feminine. And this one obviously has a lot of the features of the American with the more aggressive grip texturing and a little bit more lines in the design of it. But I think it might be I guess you have to shoot it, but I still like to look at all of them together, not just like, oh, hey, I need to buy a pistol. It needs to be like right around $300, which at the MSRP of $349, I'd assume it'd probably be $299 most places, if not even cheaper than that.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Ryan Machad's gun shop that got him in, they have them for sale for $299. And if you go to the Handgun Radio Facebook page, he took a little video from a bunch of different angles, took some side picture shots. So if you want to see a little more detailed, you can go check out his. I guess we'll put a link in the show notes too, if that'll probably help you all find it.
So probably safe to speculate the LC9 2 will be coming out next, right?
I don't know, because they already have the LC9S and the LC9S Pro. So I don't know if they would necessarily want to expand on that one, because they already made the trigger lighter. And
it's not like they're coming out with a new gun every 16 minutes.
Yeah, I think if they updated the LC9, it would just be to the aesthetics of this one, maybe. So I don't know, it might not be kind of worth it to them if you think about it. One thing I don't think we mentioned is they said the grip is a little bit wider actually than the older one, because the older one, man, the grip was like 3/4 of an inch, 0.8. Yeah, and if it would slap you right in the web of the hand. But this one, it sounds like they added a little palm swells almost, so it's a little thicker in the palm of your hand, so it distributes the recoil a little better. So that's got to be nice. I know those LCPs are pretty snappy, so kind of turns some people off.
I mean, it's still probably going to be snappy, but that thin, flat grip that the originals had, like you said, it's just you couldn't, unless your hands were like super small, you'd grab it and there would be space on, either in your hand. So you're only holding it with like the web of your hand in the front. Right.
One thing though, I'm kind of looking at this grip texturing, almost like a stippling job they have going on here, but it almost looks more, I guess, aesthetically, more for aesthetics than for function, because it kind of looks like they're really shallow, that they might actually not really add much grip to the gun. So I'm not really sure. They could have made that a little more aggressive, but I haven't handled it, so I don't know.
Yeah. Where's Ryan Machad when we need him?
Right. You don't need another Ryan. I'm all the Ryan you need.
And then some.
Now, one thing I'm kind of curious about, I always kind of mention this when it comes to the LCP. I think they kind of missed an opportunity with the way the original LCP was. I'm not sure if this one still is. It's kind of like almost resembles like a SIG, like the chassis system that the SIG has. Like the whole trigger housing is this little cassette that goes into the frame, to where you pull that out, the serial number is on that internal frame or whatever you could call it. And so the grip module was like not the serialized part. So one thing I was always kind of disappointed with the LCP is they never took the interchangeable grip idea and added like a laser, just like an aftermarket grip with a built-in laser or something like that.
Yeah,
rather than having like a bolt on.
Yeah, and it looks like kind
that'll
of
be perfect
with the way the pins are in this one, and the serial number label kind of looks like it's a window. So I'm guessing it's probably the same sort of, drop-in insert.
Yeah,
like the old one, but
yeah, because I think
I was gonna say, but of course, they probably won't make any other grip frames for it.
Yeah, which is kind of disappointing because it seems like a missed opportunity. You could have all the electronics built into it rather than having like a bolt-on Crimson Trace or something like that. Because I think even Keltec, which a lot of people say the original LCP was either stolen or very, very highly influenced the LCP. Even so, the Keltec P3 ATs, they had interchangeable grips where you could buy. They weren't they didn't have other features, but they were colored. You could buy a black gun and then later decide, I want a pink one or a tan one or whatever, and you just buy the little grip module, throw your trigger pack, I guess you could say, into the new grip module, and you have a different color gun. Well, I was always kind of confused why they didn't expand on that idea.
Like this, even the Sky, it's the same way. The serial numbers on the back insert, but it's the same way. And as anybody knows, if they've ever looked at them, they have like 50 different colored grip frames, and a black slide or a stainless, and that's it. But they're all the same. Of course, they don't list just selling one of the frame pieces, but I don't see why they couldn't.
Right.
Same type of deal.
Oh, anything else there?
No.
I think we pretty much covered everything. Those sights, I think, are honestly, the sights and the trigger are probably the biggest improvement I can see. I don't know if we mentioned you did mention the MSRP, right? Yeah, because
yeah, he did.
Because it'd probably be close to $299. So it's basically the same price as the old LCPs, which is awesome. Right at $300. It's very affordable. And then it's competitive with a lot of the other ones. I think the car is right around $300. The Bodyguard.
Yeah, I think
pretty much any of the 380s are right around that price.
TJ, I know you mentioned it before we went on air, but did anybody touch on the little pocket holster they include?
Oh yeah, no, we didn't. Yeah, so they in the box, rather than, they used to have that little triangular zipper pouch that came with the LCPs, but I guess they're throwing that in and on top of it, or they just decided to not do that. But they're offering a pocket holster with this, which kind of looks like a rebranded of another brand pocket holster, just the Ruger label on it. But I think that's an awesome idea to do that, because a lot of people, they buy these and they think, I'll just throw it in my pocket, which, especially with the lighter trigger that this has, isn't necessarily the best idea to just throw it in your pocket loose, especially, if you're going to have anything else in that pocket, which granted you shouldn't anyways, but, some stuff happens. You end up getting a dime or something wedged in the trigger guard or something. But it comes with the pocket holster, so that way it just helps people be more responsible, which I know Ruger's all into, education and stuff like that. So if they can throw in a cheap holster just to get the point across that, hey, you do need a holster.
Yep.
That's really good. I'm glad they did that.
Sweet. So next up, we're going to talk about, I reviewed a couple weeks ago that blast deflector from AAC, the blast out, and kind of looking around at what other people have made, and I kind of came across another product I thought was interesting because it is the same but a little different in how it's mounted. So this is from the Indian Creek Design Company, and they call this the BFD, which is called the blast forwarding device. So what it does is, instead of threading directly to a muzzle device or threading directly to your barrel, it basically comes with a mount that's almost like a thread adapter. So this threads onto your 1/2 by 28 or 1/2 by 36, or if you've got the 5/8 by 24, you kind of pick which mount you need. It threads onto your existing mounts. It does, and then extends those threads with the same thread pitch, but on the outside, if you kind of open up a little bit, a larger diameter, it has its own thread pitch in which the mount, this blast forward device, goes over your entire muzzle device. So obviously it's not going to work on every single muzzle device there is, because if it's too wide or too big, the inside diameter needs to fit within the BFD. But it does seem like it will fit most muzzle devices. So it's kind of weird. It's got to fit over. It's got to be 1 inch outside diameter total. I don't know. It's pretty generous unless you were shooting like a Barrett 50 cal, which I don't think those thread pitches cover a 50 cal barrel. But it's pretty interesting how it extends the threads and then it kind of goes over the top. So that way you don't have to bother getting an AAC breakout or flash hider or whatever one of those if you want to run your chosen muzzle device, but you still want the benefits of having a blast forward device or a blast diffuser to push all those that gases and the explosive forces forward. It does save you a little bit on your ears, but then it does slightly increase the recoil because the mitigating gas isn't going up and to the side to have any real effect on your muzzle. It's just pushing that forward. So any A2 flash hider, it'll work fine. If you're one of those guys that just loves the A2 flash hider and you don't want anything else, this will work with it. You could take it off without having to remove your muzzle device. So if you have a muzzle device that works with suppressors and you're not currently suppressing it, basically this BFD acts as like a collar that can just go over it entirely, and it's a little bit more universal. The price point is $79.95, and like I said, depending if you shoot 30 cal or 223, those two different thread pitches that are common, you'll want to pick one of those. So the pictures I've got, and I also posted a link to the article on the Firearm blog about it. Most of the pictures they have on the gun are an unfinished BFD, so it's really shiny and bright and chrome, which I actually kind of like the look of that. But on their website, looks like it's powder coated for the most part.
Yeah. I thought this was pretty interesting when I saw it in the show notes. I was like, huh. I'm like, but yeah, it doesn't really explain, you did a good job explaining how it screws on and then your muzzle device screws on over it.
Yeah, they don't do a good job explaining that.
Right. But then you can unscrew it from the outer threads, so to speak, and remove it. And it doesn't really look, when you have the black one, not the shiny aluminum colored one, or stainless, or whatever it is. It doesn't really add that much weird looking things to the end of your barrel where it screws on. So, I think it's a good idea. I mean, everybody and their dog, I think nowadays, is making blast diverters, but yeah, this one lets you use your chosen muzzle device. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, because a lot of pretty much all of them other than this one, you have to have, if you get let's just say Strike Industries, for example, they have one with the blast diverter. Well, you have to buy their compensator that works with their blast diverter or AAC or any of the other numerous ones. So it's pretty neat to be able to use it with whatever you like.
And blast diverters do work quite nicely. So, I mean, they do what they're supposed to, direct that concussion away from shooters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's they show it on a AR pistol, looks like, on the TFB article, where they have it inside the handguards of whatever handguard they have on there. So it says the OD is 1.49. So if you have anything larger than that, you kind of sink it inside the handguards, like popular these days. I think the angled rear portion of it kind of makes it look a little odd. It might look better on the gun in the black. I'm just looking at the Firearm blog article where it's in the white, as they say. So it kind of the taper kind of makes it look a little odd, but it might look better in
like
black.
You said, the one that the tapered part is under your handguard.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be really good for SBRs, especially if you're overlapping your handguard, getting, it barely sticking out like an inch or so within that little interval of the end of the handguard. Because have you guys seen pictures of people that had a muzzle brake on their end of their barrel and it
Inside the handguards?
It just peeled the handguard part.
Wile E. Coyote style? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this kind of thing would avoid that, but if you it also does kind of eliminate the purpose of having the brake in the first place. So you might want to switch to a flash hider, or just an A2 or something else at that point. But I think there is a market for this, especially because it's compatible with so many brands and types of muzzle devices. I mean, if you've got a flash hider that obviously does not divert gases at all, but you wanted a diverter to push some of that gases, and it does push some of the sound forward, honestly. I mean, it might be just a couple decibels, but and I hope that the NFA doesn't start to go, hey, that's doing some sort of suppression. We got to start putting laws on blast diverters, but it does accomplish somewhat of the same thing.
It's not suppression, Ryan. It's redirection. That's different.
It throws it downrange instead of back towards you or towards the people next to you.
All we're doing is changing the direction. We're not reducing the signature in any way, shape, or form. So stop it.
It makes it.
I understand.
The targets.
You know what I'm talking about.
If you're downrange, it may actually appear louder than it would if you're behind it.
That's what
the Simpsons would call that the loudener.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a company that branded theirs the Loudener?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Alpha Dog suppressors. No, I'm just kidding. That's an inside joke from.
Ooh, cheap shot.
Yeah, Sean knows what I'm talking about.
I thought we weren't taking cheap shots on the show anymore. That's
against people, but manufacturers are okay.
Oh.
And
so Snake Hound Machine is the one I was thinking.
We can take pot shots at Patriot Patch then.
Yeah, over my dead body.
Well, it's a company. It's not a person.
I'll make sure to put a patch on your gravestone.
Great. I can only imagine what they'll say.
Yeah, the next October patch is going to be Chad's tombstone.
It'll just be a tombstone picture, and it'll say something derogatory.
Literally, just something derogatory in quotes.
Cool. So there's the products for this week. We don't have any listener feedback. Tony had to bow out because his computer kept glitching out on him. So he asked Sean to get on the soapbox and talk about the Second is for Everyone.
Yeah, I got to turn this into a paid position or something, because man, I'm getting volunteered a lot lately.
I was about to ask.
I think the last time I was on the show, I had to plug his program, and then I ran his program, and now I'm plugging. Wait a second, whose program is this? So the Second is for Everyone Diversity Shoot was a grand success on October 6th, and it's on hiatus until 2017 because we try not to compete with the holidays. And I believe the plan is for it to come back during February/Black History Month, for obvious reasons there, to promote diversity and get all kinds of folks involved. But I know, no spoilers, but there's a lot of exciting things in the works to expand the diversity shoot in 2017. So that's all I'm saying for now.
Nice.
Sweet. So then we got the Fight Tyranny fundraiser for the guys over in Massachusetts. The Gun Owners Action League is fighting the Massachusetts Attorney General AR-15 kind of banhammer. So if you go over to the link in the show notes, just go to booster.com/fight-tyranny. For $15, you can get a nice shirt that's got the Fight Tyranny graphic on there, and as well as the Fifth Amendment on the back, and that money goes directly toward their fight toward those legislators. So make sure you check that out. And that's the end of the show. So in summation, send questions or comments to gungearreview@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. And be sure to visit the Firearms Insider website for reviews and industry coverage. So everyone have a great week. Go shooting if you can, and I'll catch you on the next episode.
See everybody later.
Be safe, guys. Bye, Felicia.
So long.
Yeah.